It is a great honor and a privilege to introduce Lia Lesser, and your maiden name was Blumova. We're here in your beautiful home in Birmingham in England, and thank you so much for inviting me to your magnificent home here. And Lia, you were one of the Kindertransport from Nicholas Winton.
That's correct, yes.
Could you tell us a little about where you were born and in Czechoslovakia, and a little bit about your family roots and how you managed to come to England?
Well, I was born on the 26th of March 1931 in a small town called Turnov, near Sudetenland, Teplitz-Schanov in German. My parents were divorced. I lived with my mother in a flat, and I used to go out with my father every weekend, and we used to have a great time. We lived quite near to my grandparents and my cousins, and I saw them very frequently, and we had a very happy childhood. And then, unfortunately, in the 1930s, the Nazis came into power, and we had to leave Sudetenland on the borders of Czechoslovakia, and my mother and I fled in front of the German army. I went to 3 different schools in 6 months, and I had a report from each of them, and eventually we arrived in Prague. And
can I ask you, Lia, your mother's parents, your grandparents, we have a photo, a picture.
Yes. My grandfather had a barrel factory, and he employed shire horses and vehicles to transmit the barrels, and my grandmother used to feed them at home. My grandfather also ran an animal sanctuary. I'm not quite sure whether he ran it or owned it, and I used to love going there and playing with the animals and looking after the animals. And I used to play with my cousins, Eva, who was a little bit older than myself, and my father's brother had a son called Harry, and we were very close as well. And of course, when we had to leave Turnov, in front of the Nazis, I never saw them again, and they perished in the Holocaust.
Your grandparents, they never came with your mother when you fled?
No. I never saw any of my family again.
And in this picture, Lia, the lady in the middle is your aunt?
Yes, that's my grandfather and my grandmother. That's my aunt Edita, Edita, Edith in English, I expect, and that's Eva and myself.
And they never survived?
No.
And you have such a beautiful picture with you with your father?
Yes, yes.
And there's a picture with your mother?
It's a different one in the book.
In the book. And you had a very happy childhood?
A very happy childhood. We used to go swimming most weekends in the summer, and
because with your Aunt Edith? I thoroughly
enjoyed going out with my father, because inevitably he spoiled me. And and I can remember somebody saying to me, "Which of your parents do you love best?" And I said, "But of course I love them both equally." And I can always remember this, you know. So despite them being divorced, I had a very happy childhood.
So here you can see a picture with you and Eva in 1937, and there's a picture with you and Harry in 1938, and you're smiling and you look very happy, and with your aunt
Her
swimming
husband,
in 1935.
he owned a textile factory, but they all perished in the war.
And Leah, what do you remember about your school days before
I remember
you were...
enjoying them, and I think I must have been rather naughty, and I must have been told off a fair amount, because I thought, to begin with, I thought I'd be a teacher, so that I could tell people off as well when I grew up. But I wasn't a teacher.
So you have such a beautiful picture of your first day at school.
Yes, yes. And of course all children at that time were given these boxes of sweets and chocolate on the first day when you went to school. It wasn't just me. That was a custom of, I suppose, Czechoslovakia, Sudetenland, Germany.
They did that in Germany as well.
Yeah.
And you have with your kindergarten in 1935.
Yeah.
There's a picture, and
yes, yeah.
With your cousin Harry.
Yes, he didn't go to the same school as myself, but in the book, I think you saw Harry here, didn't you? But I think he's... Yes, Harry's the one behind me with an open shirt. Row behind me. I'm in the front row.
These are such precious pictures.
Yeah.
And do you remember the day when you had to leave, when you went with your mother?
I can just remember being on the way, but I must have been so protected that I wasn't afraid.
Did you know what was going on? Did you know why you had to leave?
I don't know. I wasn't afraid, so I doubt whether... I don't know how my mother, my grandparents, I assume, would have said to her, take her out. But I don't know. I just don't know. Because we lived quite near to my grandparents. Yeah. And of course, I don't think people realised how bad things would be.
And growing up, did you have mainly Jewish friends, or did you have non-Jewish friends as well?
You mean in this country?
In the Czech?
I think it was it wasn't a Jewish school, it was a mixed school, yeah.
But you got on well with all the children?
Oh, yes.
And did you ever experience anti-Semitism or anti-Jewish feeling?
Not to my knowledge. And I can remember, I had a very nice coat, my best coat, and I gave it away to a child that hadn't got a coat. And my mother was very annoyed with me when I got home. But I'd given this coat away. But that's, I can't remember any of the children I played with, but I assumed that I was very happy.
And once a week you'd see your father and you'd go swimming?
Yeah. Yes, he used to collect me every weekend and we used to go out. Yeah, yeah. And he was at the station. My mother obviously kept in contact with him, and when we left from Prague, from Wilson Street in Prague, he was there to see me off with her.
But can I ask, Leah, before you left from Prague, when you had left your home and you, for those few months before you got to Prague, and you were in different schools and with your mother,
yeah.
Do you remember that time?
Well, I think I was a little bit bewildered because every 2 months we moved to get nearer to Prague. Somehow my mother must have found out about Kindertransport, because I can't think how she got to know, but somehow she arranged for me to come to England, and she had corresponded with my guardian in this country, because my guardian originally wasn't going to have me. She was going to have a different child, and this child stayed with a Jewish family in Liverpool, and this is what I was told, and they grew so attached to her, they wanted to keep her. So then my guardian had to start again, and she got me.
So this is, it's actually,
you know, life was a
unbelievable.
lottery. It really was.
Do you remember coming into Prague with your mother? Do you remember when you arrived in Prague?
I can't remember much about any of the schools, but I could remember being on the station, and my father didn't want me to go, but he afterwards told my mother we did the right thing, because he didn't agree with me going to begin with.
And do you remember being on that station? Do you remember?
It was very harrowing. There were hundreds of people. There were babies in arms, and there were mothers handing in babies, and the mothers running onto the train and taking their babies. It was all very harrowing for everybody. And then eventually the train moved, and
Do you remember saying goodbye to your mother?
well, yes, yeah.
But you didn't think you weren't going to see her again?
We had no idea that we'd never see them again, because they were going to come on. She was going to get a domestic visa to come to. We were going to America originally, but that's how things were.
And Leah, was it very difficult to separate from your mother to go into the train?
Of course.
And your father was at the station as
But,
well?
you know, everybody was in the same situation, yeah.
Your father came to the station as
Oh,
well?
he was there, yes, in the background. He was too upset. Yeah.
And you still have memories of seeing your mother and your father that day?
Yeah, they were both there together. Yeah.
And going on the train, did you know any other of the children that were?
No, there were children from babyhood to 18-year-olds, and the older children, I believe, went back for each transport to help other children to come out, the older ones, yeah.
Now, Leah, your mother gave you a little case that you took with, and that was something very important, because she put some unbelievably important items into your case.
Yeah.
Could you tell us what was inside the case?
I can't remember the little case. I can remember two big cases. I can't remember the little case. I must have had one possibly. But I wasn't a doll sort of person. I don't think I ever had a doll, to be honest. I loved animals always, but I didn't play with dolls. And of course, when I came to this country, my guardian was a spinster. So although she was a schoolmistress, she was used to dealing with older children. She was secondary school English teacher. And she wasn't really used to young children, so it must have been very difficult for her.
But your mother put inside the case a few books and a few photographs.
Yes, yeah, and I had lots of clothes, lots of clothes, but really these were the only things I had.
So can you show us what the items?
National costume. And
this is the original costume that your mother put in the case?
Yes. Yes, in the book there's a picture of me in it.
So if you could just show us these art, and you've kept it all these years.
I didn't keep all the other bits, but I kept this, and I got my name on. I don't know what made me sew my name on it.
This is so beautiful.
And this went round the neck, of course. I got the name on there as well.
And your mother put the name on?
No, I don't think so. Looks like I did.
You put it later.
Because she would have put Bloomerval, you see.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is
And this is round the neck. And then you had big sleeves, you see. And you had a little skirt. Yeah.
And you have a little trinket?
Yes. And I wore that. And that's not the chain with it. I've got another chain. But it's so fine that I was scared of tearing it. So when I wear it, I wear it.
Could you show it us? If you could show us the... And you were wearing it...
At the back it's got the law.
Yeah, this is the pendant that you wore, and you received it when you were around 6, and you wore it on the train when you left. So in the front it's a picture of Moses with the 10 Commandments, and at the back it's very special. At the back here you have the Shema Yisrael in Hebrew. And you've kept this all the years. This is so dear and so valuable. It's so precious.
It is, yeah. Thank you.
And there, your mother put inside the case a Hebrew book.
Yes. Those are the books I had at school.
So we can see the Hebrew with
that's the first. That's the first book, the first.
And what did you speak with your parents?
Czech.
And you could read Hebrew?
Yeah. But you know, the continental Jews were either ultra-Orthodox or they were not very Orthodox.
They were traditional?
Yeah.
And then the other books that your mum put in, this is...
Yes.
What was this book on?
Which is this? I think this is a storybook. It's what it's called. That's Rana's Morning. It says home and school.
You could show us the picture of your mother, and these are the originals. And it's so special that you have these pictures that they survived.
Yeah.
These are the original pictures.
Yeah.
And Lia, can I ask, when you went on the train, did you know where the train was going? Did your mother discuss with you what was happening or where you were going?
I don't. I knew I was going away from danger, but that's all I knew. And I knew I had a label round my neck to say who I was going to be collected by in Liverpool Street Station.
Did you know that you were going to go to England? Did you know you were going to England?
I think I must have done.
And where did the train go? It
went from the Hook of Holland to the Hook of Holland. Then we went to Harwich by boat.
And you tell the story that you were given some white bread with jam.
That's right. Yes, it's in there. Yes.
Where was that given?
Yes.
When you were still in Holland?
And that was, when you're used to rye bread, it was so different, and I thought it was lovely. Yeah.
And do you remember the train journey at all, or going on the boat?
Well, I think I was very bewildered on the train journey, but we didn't have any Nazi guards coming and throwing open any suitcases. We didn't have any sort of nastiness of any sort. Then when we arrived in London from Harwich, we went straight to this huge hall in Liverpool Street Station. We all had the labels round our necks.
Okay.
It must have been a lot of hours. I don't know how long the journey took.
And Lia, how old were you?
8.
You were 8 years old. And did you make any friends on the boat or on the train?
I don't remember anybody or anything. I must have been traumatised, I think, because I don't remember anything. Yeah.
And when you got to Liverpool station?
We went into this big hall. We had labels round our necks saying who would collect us. And we waited and waited. And I was one of the last children to be collected. And the reason was that my guardian had to come from the Isle of Anglesey, and it's a huge journey. You have to go across Anglesey, then you have to catch the train to London, then you've got to cross London to get to Liverpool Street. And although she was a senior mistress, she wasn't used to travelling. It must have been a nightmare for her, really and truly. And she was one of the last ones to collect me. And I was just very relieved. I don't remember much about the journey, except that she told me that Welsh sailors sang lullabies to me on the train. And they carried me at Crewe, which is a big junction. They carried me from the London train to the North Wales train. And when we got to Bangor, her brother, who was on leave from the army, collected us and took us by his car to Bull Bay, where she lived. And we arrived there on the 1st of July, 1939.
And when you first saw her, how was your impression when you saw her, when she came to collect you?
I was just relieved that somebody had collected me, because of course I didn't know her at all. And I suppose, I mean, she was a very good-looking woman. You'll see if you look in the book. But she had a rather severe hairstyle, didn't she, that time? And it must have been an ordeal for her, because she wasn't used to young children. But she'd heard on the wireless, as it was called in those days, that what was happening to the Jewish children in Europe. So it was a big undertaking. And they had to find £50 so that the British government, at the end of the war, when we were sent back, hopefully to our parents, they didn't have to pay for the journey. And her family had to find £50, which was an awful lot of money in 1939. So all her sisters and brother, they all contributed to me coming.
So you have a picture in the book of the Hook Continental, the train that took from Harwich to London, and at the bottom is a list of children that were brought to the UK, and you at the bottom. This is from the original list. But when she came to fetch you, Did she embrace you? Did she kiss you? Do you have any memories of that encounter?
I wouldn't think so. She wasn't that sort of person, but she was never one to show. She was very, very happy, and she was. There are lovely pictures of her with our two children. We used to always go there on holiday, but she just wasn't used to showing affection, I think. And the other thing was, she had promised my mother that she wouldn't steal her affection from her.
That's an amazing thing to do.
Yeah. That I do remember, because she told me one day, yeah.
And her brother? Mouse's brother?
Mouse's mother.
Or her brother, her siblings? Did she have siblings?
She was a very old lady. There's a picture there of her, I think. And she was a semi-invalid, really, and she was being looked after by one of her daughters, who was a health visitor, and she lived with her. Yeah, they all looked after each other. They were very good.
And why did you call her Mouse?
Because I didn't know what to call her, and when she was studying, she used to look after children in Liverpool, and they said, "You're very quiet. Why don't we call you Mouse?" So she was always Mouse. So she said, "Would you like to call me Mouse?" So I said yes. So she was always Mouse.
And it was Florence Hall. She was.
Yeah. All my life is complicated.
But, yeah, you seem very happy. Here's a picture with Jane and
they were both
a friend
very happy.
In 1940, and you have such a beautiful picture with the national costume that you wore. This was in 1940 as well. You put on the costume.
39. No, this was
1940.
Yeah.
Were you already there? And with Mouse, when you were going to sleep, would she tuck you into bed? Was she loving towards you?
But she wasn't an affectionate sort of person. I mean, she cared for me beautifully, but she wouldn't give me a hug at bedtime or anything. She just wasn't that sort of person, and I accepted it. And especially when she told me about, not stealing any affection from my mother. But her younger sister, she was, after Mouse, she was my favourite aunt, and she had 2 boys, and she used to spoil me. Yeah.
And the place that you lived,
yeah.
It's the first time that you had been by the sea.
Yeah. First time I'd been by the sea. We had no electricity, no gas. We used to have to carry water from the well. Well, you can see it's very isolated.
But was it a happy home? Was it a happy...
Oh, very.
And how often did you get letters from your mother and your father?
Not very often, and then they came through the Red Cross. Yeah.
And they stopped coming in around 42?
Yeah, and toward the end of the war, Mouse heard about a Czech school, and she made inquiries, and she said, "You need to relearn your native language," because I hadn't spoken it for several years, and so she sent me to the Czech boarding school, and I think I've got pictures there of and I stayed there till the end of the war. And
was it far away from...
Yes, it was in South Wales, Breckenshire. First of all, it was in Shropshire, and then the it was a Hinton Hall, and it had been a large farm. It was an estate really, and so we were there for a couple of years, and then the men came back from the war and they wanted to farm their land, so we moved down to South Wales, to Breckenshire, to a little place called Llanwrtyd Wells.
So you have a beautiful picture with you and your new bicycle. That cost £6 in those days, and you'd cycle to school. This was taken in 1941.
Yes, we cycled to school, and then later on we caught a bus because the school was a couple of miles away.
And at the Czechoslovakia school, this is in Hinton Hall in 1942, were there mainly were there a lot of
the Czech school?
Were there Jewish children in that school?
Jewish children, children from people that disagreed with the Nazis, soldiers. Quite a few of the teachers were soldiers. They had to get out, it was a very happy place.
You have also another picture with one of the teachers. And there was a rabbi that came to visit as well?
We had a rabbi, yes. We had a rabbi, and I think all the children, whatever religion they were able to have tuition.
And you were in the hockey team? You played?
That's not in the Czech school.
That was afterwards?
Yeah.
And can I ask, in that Czech school, did you make a lot of friends?
Oh, yes.
And some of the friends you have to this very day?
We're talking about the Czech school?
The Czech school.
Oh, yes. I've got a friend in Montreal, and we speak every Friday or send an email. But they've mostly gone now. Have you heard of somebody called Milena Greville Baines, Lady Milena Greville Baines? No. She's 2 years older than I am, but there are not many of us left now.
And Lia, were there any other children that were on the train with you that were at the Czech school?
I don't think there were any. Not that I knew, no.
So I want to ask you, it's a difficult question, but when the letters stopped coming from your parents, did you know why they stopped coming or what was happening?
By that time, I guessed. And then we had definite, yeah.
When did you know?
At the end of the war, really.
At the end of the war.
Yeah.
And during the war, when you went to the boarding school, you would go home as well to Mouse? And
from Czech school, yes, yeah. Yes, I used to travel, and she had some friends in Chester that would come to the station. Sometimes I used to stay with them because, you know, it was just after the war, or wartime, so trains weren't very frequent, and they'd put me on the right train, and same as when I went to school, they'd put me on the right train to go down to either to Shropshire or to Breckenshire.
And can I ask, at any time did you and your guardian, did you develop a closer relationship as the years went on?
Well, yeah, we always had a close relationship. You know, she was always considering me.
And did she ever want you to call her mum, or?
No, she was always Mouse.
And as the years went on and she realised that your parents aren't coming back,
yeah,
she still kept a close connection with
you?
you?
Yes, always. We went there every holiday.
Here you have in your book
Yes.
a letter from your mother from 1939. And here's a letter from your father in also 1939. Leah, is it possible to read the letter that your mother wrote?
Yes. The English. Yes, sure. Dearest Leah, I have received your sweet letter and I'm very happy that you're doing so well. I have heard that you have a car, a cat, a tricycle, and you are always visiting someone. I would love to hear in detail what you do every day. I hope you have been reading those checkbooks to make sure you don't completely forget check. I have sent your letter to Daddy, but he has not replied for some time now. Otta came back from work yesterday and went home again. I would like to come and join you soon, but I still haven't got a permit and I haven't heard from Miss Hall for so long. I don't know what to think. Have I upset her? Ask her why she hasn't written for so long. I've been learning to make artificial flowers, so I'll bring you some. It's nearly the start of term and I can't wait to see how you will cope with the English. Write soon, and lots of love and kisses. Your mummy, Ida.
And you have also from your father. Is it possible to read?
Yeah. Brno, 21st of August 1939. My dearest Leah, I have not heard from you for so long that I don't know what to think. I hope, my little darling, that you are well despite not remembering us much with your writing. I think of you every day, my dear child, and I pray to God that he keeps you safe and that you remain our dear little girl. Make sure to learn English so well that when you come back you can teach us all. I have not heard from Mummy for a while, so I don't know if she is with you now. We talk about you a lot here, my darling, and do wonder what our little angel looks like now. Fabulous, no doubt. She might even be at school. Harry's going too soon. The holidays are nearly over and school will be on again. You, my little darling, would be in year 3 here, and Harry would be in year 5. I'm sure you will do well at school over there and will do Mummy and Daddy proud, just like with the school report from Sprazdavitse Primary when you had only a 2. I can't wait to be able to say to everyone that our little Leah has all 1s on her school report. Make sure you don't forget your native tongue over there. You know which that is, don't you? There must be other children there that can speak Czech with you. I hope you have settled in and like it there. You say you go to the seaside every week, so that means you must swim in the sea. There you go. Not even Daddy has been as far away as you are now, my dear girl. Thank the lady that you are staying with for all that she has done for you in the time you have been with her. I'm not sure you would like it here at the moment, but when you come back, everything will be as beautiful and lovely as you remember it. And then we'll come and get you, and you will never have to leave us ever again. And we will make up for everything you could have before. You could not have before. Remember that we love you very much and we think of you all the time, our darling. You don't ever have to be sad. Remember well everything you see around you as it will always make you feel good when you remind yourself what it is like to live in another country where they perhaps don't even know what plum dumplings taste like. Plums are in season right now over here, and I know how much you like plum dumplings. Don't worry, you will have them again. You'll see. I don't know what else to tell you, my dear child, because there's not much going on. I'm looking forward to getting a letter from you soon. I would like that very much. I wish you all the best, my darling. Keep well and happy, and write to us lots about you. Lots of loving kisses, your daddy. Yeah.
Yeah, these letters are, it's just,
and I've no idea why. I'm sure I did right, but
they're so precious. And
yeah.
Did you used to reread them a lot? Did you used to?
Yeah.
And you also have a letter from your grandparents.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's so special if you could read also from your grandparents.
Thank you. My dear Leah, we were very glad to hear that you arrived in London safely and that you are well. We are also well. Thank you for your sweet note. We're very happy that you're doing so well. Be a good girl. Make sure we don't hear any complaints about you. Pray to God like your grandma does. Eva's looking forward to seeing you. She leaves on the 28th of this month. Also for London. Otter, Auntie, Uncle and Eva are sending many warm regards to you. Grandad has nothing to tidy up now that you are not here. Look after yourself and God bless you. With lots of love and kisses, your Nanny and Grandad. Yeah. Otter was their son. He was in the army. Yeah.
And Eva, what happened with Eva?
No.
So she didn't make it.
No. War's dreadful, isn't it? Yeah. But that's not war.
Yeah,
that's extermination.
Did you used to reread these letters a lot? You kept the letters and used to read them over again?
Yes.
This is from your mother in 1939, and this is from your father also in 39. They're such loving letters, such loving...
Yeah.
And from your grandparents.
And these are translations, of course.
You had such very special parents.
Yeah.
And this is your grandparents. And dear, what do you know what actually happened to your parents and to your grandparents?
No. My mother and my grandparents, and I think the rest of my family, they died near Majdanek in a smaller camp, as far as I know. And my father and my stepmother died she survived and he died in Auschwitz.
And when did you get the news that they had perished, that they were killed?
I think I heard at the end of the war, yeah. Where, there were lists at the school, and I heard, that's when their name wasn't on the list, so I didn't know till sometime later. I think through the Czech Refugee Trust Fund.
And how did you handle? How did you cope with the news, knowing that?
Well, I suppose in time you stopped hoping.
And was she very supportive and
Oh,
and her
yes,
family?
she was. You know, she's I was too old to be adopted, but I mean it was always my home. And when she had to give it up, Philip, my husband, and Aunt, one of the sisters, we cleared it because it wasn't her house, so we didn't have to sell it. I believe she paid rent, so we didn't have to sell it.
But all the years you kept the contact.
Oh yes, we're still in contact. Yeah.
So your father spoke about the report that you got before you were on the Kindertransport, and with all A's, and here's a...
He expected the best of me.
And he got the best. And did you know anything about the rescue, about Winton? What did you know about Nicholas Winton?
Oh, not until mid-1980s.
How did you get to hear about this incredible, unbelievable, modest person that didn't even tell his own wife, that didn't tell his family?
I think Esther Ransom, you've heard of Esther Ransom, and her programme, That's Life. We first of all heard of Nicky Winton then. And of course he wasn't the only a person involved. There were other people as well, and I mentioned them in the book. I wasn't able to go to the film, but I think there's a photograph in there of a couple of days later. I met Nicky Winton and Esther Ransom at the Lime Street Studios in London. I think there's a picture towards the end.
And when you got to know that he's the person that organised the Kindertransport, that he, in a way, he saved your life.
Yes, and he was very involved with quite a lot of people from the Czech boarding school, and he came to the school, and he came with us to southern Bohemia with his wife Greta. I think there might be a photograph in there, and we always kept in touch. And he had a daughter called Barbara and a son, but I knew Barbara better. And I've got a photograph of her because we gave a talk some few years back with Barbara and I. And I was one of Nicky's children. She wrote a book, and we spoke. Both of us spoke at this at Worcester in Worcestershire, in not the next county to Warwickshire.
So here's a picture of Nicholas Winton and with Esther Ransom, and in the Lime Street Studios in 1988.
That's a young man.
Here's a picture with both of you. This is in 2003. And what do you remember about the program, the premiere of One Life?
Well, it was very realistic, but of course they didn't have any of the original people in it. They were all actors and actresses. Yes, and we went to the premiere in London. And I don't think we actually met Anthony Hopkins that took the part, but he did. He was acted Nicky Winton very well indeed. Yeah.
And it's very realistic.
Yeah, very good. Yeah.
And when you found out that Nicholas, his idea was to save the children and to bring them to England, there's enormous gratitude, enormous.
Yes.
And you had a very close connection.
Yes, yeah. And when he had special birthdays, the 5s and the 10s, we used to all meet at the Czech and Slovak Institute in London. And people would come from abroad. My friend from Canada would come, and I've got a few photographs. I don't know if they're in there, but I've got loads of photographs.
And you still in touch with the family?
Well, sadly, Barbara, his daughter, died about 18 months ago. She had cancer. She knew she had cancer, and a couple of years ago, we had a Holocaust service in London, and I met her, Lawrence, her son, Nicky's grandson. He and I were both speakers there, and so I've only met him once.
And Lia, you decided that you wanted to do nursing.
Oh, yes, I knew that very early on. And on Anglesey, we didn't have, where I lived, we hadn't got a secondary, we hadn't got higher school education available. And I always wanted to be a children's nurse. So I did a 2-year course to train with healthy children, so that I knew what healthy children were like, and I qualified. And then when I was 18, I started, I think I was coming on 19, I started my proper nursing training at the Queen Elizabeth Hospital in Birmingham. And during your general training, you do 6 months at the children's, and I knew once I went to the children's, I couldn't come to terms with children not getting better. So I thought, no, I can't do children's nursing. So I always did adult nursing. And I did that for, I think, about 19 years. Then I got married. And when the children were small, I did nothing for 5 years. And then I did family planning for 17 years. And in those days, you had to retire the day you were 65. On the day, you couldn't even finish the week. And now they're crying out for people. Yeah.
So you have a beautiful picture. You were in the hockey team in your secondary school, and you were happy in your secondary school. Your secondary school.
Very happy. Yeah.
And nursing, you were happy that you chose that profession.
Yes, very happy. I think if I'd stayed on another 2 years, I might have done medicine, but I think I'm more suited to nursing.
Because in 1960. And how did you meet your husband?
A nursing friend and I, we joined a club called the Coffee Pot. It was a club for professional people. Well, nurses have such strange hours. Anyway, we managed to get, I'm not sure how often it was now, whether it was weekly or fortnightly, but they had all sorts of activities in a group. And I knew him several years before anything clicked. And it happens he was Jewish. So, yeah, the rest is history, really.
But Lia, you tell us an amazing thing that you went to different churches because you.
Oh yes, I tried different churches,
and you didn't. No. You didn't connect.
No.
And when you went into the synagogue,
one day I plucked up courage, and I rang one of the rabbis at the synagogue I now attend, and I went to see him, and there was a nurse, a matron that was a member of Singers Hill, and she took me the first time, and I just felt it was, I just felt I'd come home. Yeah. So I hadn't done anything for years and years.
But going inside that synagogue, you felt that you had come home?
Yeah, it just felt right. Yeah.
So this is a picture when you got married in Singers Hill Synagogue
and they
in
wore
1969.
top hats in those days. They don't now.
And here's with your two daughters. And yeah, looking back, can I ask you a very difficult question? Your parents made possibly the most difficult decision any parent could ever make.
Yes.
To send their child away, not knowing who they're going to, if they would see them again.
I didn't realise at the time, no, I didn't.
But have you ever thought, if you were put into that position, what you would do? It's such a difficult situation. It's such a difficult
No, I haven't
question.
thought about it, because, well, in the future, as things stand at the moment, you might have to think about it.
But your parents were so courageous to have made that, and
Yes.
so selfless.
Yes.
They were so,
Yeah.
they
You know, don't you, that in Prague they had a memorial on the station about a carriage door to commemorate the courage of the parents allowing their children to come to this country and other countries. I think there's a picture in there.
and
It's a pre-war carriage door with hands on. Oh, would you mind fetching the?
Here we have the memorial.
Yeah.
And when you've gone back to Prague.
Yes, we all went to Prague.
And how was it going back? Did any of the
Well, I've
memories?
been back several times.
But did you recall any of the memories that it?
Well, yes, of course, because there were quite a few of my school friends there. My special friend was there, and Milena. I knew quite a few people quite well, but by then a few of them had died, so they were no longer there.
So
But,
you had a reunion in 1990 with your school friends. And Lia, looking back, I mean, you've had the most unbelievable, eventful life. Miracles, and it really is miracles that there was somebody like Nicholas Winton who
yeah,
sacrificed so much and
Yeah.
was so modest. He didn't even
Yeah.
tell his family.
yeah.
And it was by
He
chance
was.
somebody found that list.
You know, he was originally Jewish.
Yeah.
He came from Germany, his family, and they converted.
But it's amazing what he did.
Yeah.
And you here today to tell the story.
Yeah.
Thanks
Oh,
to
he was a
you.
lovely man, and he supported other charities.
And Lia, if I can ask you, what message do you impart to your children, grandchildren, and to the future generations?
Well, well, I hope that the world has learned from past mistakes and that history never repeats itself. By example, teach young people to live together in peace and harmony. By example.
And I think the example that your parents set and the example that you set,
Yeah.
you epitomize it.
Is that okay?
Lia, I just want to thank you it's been such a great honor and a privilege to be with you. Lia, I'm so grateful to you. You are, there's no words. There's just no words.
No,
Lia, really, you
I'm
are
just
so
a very
special.
ordinary person.
You know, you could have been so depressed, and you took
Yeah.
life, and I think you're so appreciative for what you
it was
have.
such a lovely family that I went to. I was just so lucky, because not everybody went to.
It's true, and they treated you well.
Oh, like if I was their children, and all the aunts and uncles. I mean, we were all just the same, weren't we?
Well, Lia, I'm so grateful. We say at Mavis Stream till 120 in good health and just nachas from your children. And could we ask for a blessing?
I'm not bad for 94.
Lia, could you give us all a blessing?
Yes, yeah. Yes, I'm very lucky.
Well, we are so grateful to you, and
it's a great pleasure.
It's been just unbelievable hearing your story and meeting somebody who is a miracle, because your story is a miracle.
Yeah, I count my blessings every day, and I'm so lucky to have two lovely children, two grandsons at university, and I have a lot of pleasure.
We should just have nachas and mazel. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Our beautiful shul had just been repainted and refurbished, and we were fortunate enough to have the chief rabbi come and do us the great honour. And in the picture, our rabbi and his wife, our two grandchildren, and three other children from the congregation.
And this is a picture with, at the time he was Prince Charles, now he's King Charles.
Yes, we were invited to St James's Palace by Prince Charles, and he came and sat at our table for 10 minutes, and he's talking to Lady Milliner Greville Baines and myself about our visit, and he was very easy to talk to.
And you felt a genuine warmth?
Oh, definitely. He was very warm, and we really enjoyed him coming to talk to us, and he was so enthusiastic about what we were all doing, and we will always remember the visit.
And you also... So this is...
Hinton Hall.
From the Czech school?
The Czech school at Hinton Hall, Shropshire.
From 1942, and your reunion in the 1980s. And you are the front row from the left.
The top. That would have been 1940.
Lia, Lia, if I could ask you...
Put it down.
How was it, we can put it down, Lia, how was it like going to the reunion and seeing the people?
Oh, it was lovely, yes, because we used to meet the same people. We went every 5 years, and it was lovely to meet all your pals, and the headmaster used to be there whilst he was still alive, and three of the masters, and anybody that had been at the school, and the reunions, I can't think when they stopped. I suppose when about 2000, something, yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much.